Okay, thanks, Tim. Good morning, everybody. Good to be back home this week and get back in the Valley. Boston College is a very tough challenge for us. They're 3-2. Really, biggest thing when I look at them on tape, they're playing with a lot of confidence on both sides of the ball. Had a tough loss, traveling a long way across the country out to Southern Cal, and lost, and then had a very hard-fought game that was a lot closer. I think they ended up being a 14-point game, but it was a lot closer than that against Florida State, a very good Florida State team. So this is a team that's, again, playing with a lot of confidence and a huge challenge for us. Offensively, they got 9 starters back, so a very veteran group. They want to run the football and play action you and try to slow the game down. I think they're snapping it about 61 times a game. So that's what they do, and they do a good job of it. Their quarterback is a guy we're very familiar with. Reddick, very good player, very efficient, smart, manages the game for them, makes good decisions, and I think is playing well. Their offensive line. When you think of Boston College, they're exactly what you think. They're big, strong, physical, like to get their hands in the dirt and run the power and run the counter and run it again and again and again. That's what they do. Got a bunch of tight ends and fullbacks. They use them all, lots of different sets, as far as, 2, 3, 4 tight ends, tackle overs, all that kind of stuff. So really presents some problems as far as being able to line up and make sure that you're sound. The receivers, everybody talks about 83, and rightfully so. He's a very good player. He killed us last year. He had almost 200 yards on us, 190-something yards, a couple touchdowns. So, he should be very confident playing against Clemson because he tore us up last year. Their running back is the heart and soul of what they do. He leads the nation right now in rushing, 150-something yards a game, and has had a couple of 200-yard games as well. But very, very good player. As tough a guy as we're going to play. Just a guy that we're going to have to do a great job of tackling. So big challenge there. And the biggest thing is just handling all their formations, all their shifts, and all the movements, and being able to line up and have be gap sound and really do a good job of communicating to the back end, because the secondary's got to get involved, with the type of looks that we're going to see as far as being able to stop the run. Defensively, they got 7 starters back. So again, a very, very experienced group, very physical group. Got 16 sacks. They're one of the best teams in the league right now at sacking the quarterback. Their defensive line, very impressed with those guys. 91 is as good as anybody we've played, and probably will be as good as anybody we play. He didn't play against us last year. He was hurt. But this guy, I can't pronounce his last name, but he is a really, really good player. A very good player. Shows up. 96 is another really good player. Their 2 ends are active and big physical guys inside. BC, they always have great linebackers, and no different this year. 24 and 49 are both 2 of the top 5 or 6 tacklers in the ACC. I think 24 is second in the league. And then got 2 starters back on the back end. A lot of pressure, very different this year as far as when I think of BC defensively, as far as their philosophy and how they play, very different. Since with a new coach and a new regime in there, the style of play is different. They're still a 4-man front. They will get into some 3-down stuff, but a lot more pressure than what we've seen in the past, and some very unorthodox looks in the secondary. They do some really different things from a secondary standpoint that we're going to have to, really do a good job preparing for. Again, big challenge. Punt return guys averaging about 16 yards of return. So they're a very solid football team that will come down here with great confidence, and we're going to have to match their physicality, because this, again, tough, hard-nosed group, and we're going to have to play well. We got to have great preparation today, tomorrow, Thursday, and continue to try to improve our team. But we look forward to the challenge, and again, excited to be back in the Valley and with our home folks, and hopefully we'll have another beautiful day. 3:30 something kickoff, and look forward to getting after it.
Dabo, with your you mentioned their running back and leading the country in rushing, and problems you guys have had a couple times this year with gap control and stuff like that. Is there a concern right now that that's kind of being a problem, but you're seeing it too often right now?
No, not really. I mean, because what the issues that we've had are very correctable, and that's kind of, we're just in the process right now. I mean, we're always going to have mistakes. I mean, I wish we could go out there and be goose eggs every week and never give up a big play and make every tackle and all that. But that's the other teams have good players too, and we're not perfect coaches and we're not perfect players, but can we learn from our mistakes, and do we care, and can we continue to get better? And the mistakes that we've made are, again, very correctable, and we've had some really good players. This past week, one of our best players, he just had a couple mistakes, but yet he played a great game. But on defense, you make a critical mistake, it's usually you pay for it, and give the other team credit for taking advantage of our mistakes. But not a major concern right now. I think that defensively, I'm very encouraged in every regard. There's really, from where we were this time last year when we went up to Boston College, I think we played Boston College maybe the 5th game last year, I believe, and we're going into the 6th game. We're a totally different team defensively than we were this time last year. So as long as we'll continue to improve, continue to be coachable and learn from those mistakes, we're going to be fine.
Dabo, you've been here a while. Is this the best y'all have been? Clemson's been up front on defense since you've been here?
Well, we'll see. We've had some really good groups. This is my 11th season here, and we've had some good defensive lines. I think this is the deepest for sure. I don't think there's any doubt about that. In 2009 and 2010, we were really good on defensive line, really good. And then 11, we had a good first group, but we were just had our depth was freshmen, and there was just a big drop off there. And then we kind of started over last year with those guys becoming the starters, as sophomores. But I think it's the deepest group, most talented group, and most experienced group. When just the combination of those three things. I think this is the first time that we've probably had all three of those things in the right order. So that's the best part. But is it the best group? We'll see. As we continue to play.
Grady's been really important to that group. I think he led the team in tackles up at Syracuse last week, and they were all solo tackles, which is pretty impressive for a D tackle. What's he done so well?
Well, I think one of the things you just mentioned, probably the biggest improvement in our defensive line is people know some of their names. Nobody knew anybody's name coming into this season. Nobody. I literally, and I think I mentioned this to y'all. I did a radio show with Eddie George. He travels here. He comes in here. He sits down. He's in our building, and we're talking about Taj Boyd and all this thing, and our football team, and the normal things that everybody wants to talk about before the season. And I asked him if he could name one defensive lineman. He couldn't name one of them. Not one guy on our entire defense. And I use that with our team, because that's kind of, although I felt like, man, we got some good players and these guys got the right stuff, nobody even knows who they are. But now, people know who Grady is. That's the first time anybody ever talks about Grady. He is a great player. Everybody knows Vic now. They're making up new names for him now. Corey Crawford. These guys are starting to create a little bit of an identity for themselves defensively, and I love that, man. I love it, and I'm really proud of them. And I just think they're a blue-collar bunch that's very unselfish, and they got great chemistry, and they like playing. They like practicing. They're taking a lot of pride in doing the things you got to do to win. But Grady's really kind of the heart and soul of our defense. He just sets the standard for everybody. Relentless in his preparation, relentless in his effort, and I mean, strong, physical, low pads. He made a play in the game the other night that just stopped the tape. Was talking to the staff about it. I mean, the quarterback got loose and scrambled. Stephon rallied and ended up making the tackle, but Grady got cut, gets up, I mean, he sprints and goes and just throws his body around to get in on this tackle. That's Grady Jarrett. You can just, best way to describe him is a picture. You can watch one play, and that's Grady Jarrett. And he's that way every day, and he has been since he got here. Plays with a chip on his shoulder, but has really become a great leader for us. And, just really proud of how he's performing right now.
Vic Beasley was known as last year as a one-trick kind of guy, but even with his weight, when he rushes the passer now, he's got a couple different moves that he's using. Well, last year he just had that one move, which was speed. Can you talk about his progress and the different things he's doing?
It's just confidence, experience, development. The biggest thing, I mean, he just, he got great experience last year, and then he got serious about it. He had a little bit of success. It's amazing what a little bit of success will do for somebody. And that's the best part of my job. The best, it's better than any win, better than any paycheck, better than anything. The best part of my job is seeing a young person mature and grow and develop and realize his potential and figure it out. Figure the game out, figure life out, and that never gets old. And Vic is the perfect example of that. I mean, he's captain this week. If you'd told me Vic was going to be a captain as a junior 2 years ago, I would have laughed. But it's just amazing to see his transformation. But had some success last year and bought in that, okay, you know what? I got a chance to be a pretty special guy. I'm not. It's like I told him last year. I said, look, you don't have to be Corey Crawford. You don't have to be this guy. You're not this. You just need to be Vic Beasley. That's all you need to worry about. And take what you have and maximize it. And he got serious about it in the offseason. He bought into putting some weight on, and he's always been one of the strongest guys on the team. But he just started working on his craft. Hobby's done a phenomenal job. Hobby's as good a coach as we got on this staff, and as good a coach as there is in the country, and has done a tremendous job in bringing him along. But give Vic a lot of credit because, again, he bought in, his confidence grew, he worked on his craft. He developed some other things. The big thing was, well, he's the third down guy. Well, Vic wants to be an every down guy. And what he's not getting enough credit for is how he's performing in the run game. I mean, he's spilling things when he needs to spill it. He's containing when he's contained. He's sticking his face in there. He's running people down. He is really disruptive in the run game just as much as he is in the passing game, and really becoming a complete player. And he's not even close to being a finished product. Because he needs to be a 250-pound guy, and he will be. But he just plays with he uses all of his tools. He's got great length, so he can protect himself there with his length, and then obviously his speed and quickness and change of direction makes him special.
There's been a lot made over the last several days about who should be on the selection committee for the 14 playoff next year.
Tim Bray gets my vote. Said you could count on Notre Dame being in the top 4 every year. It'd be the only problem with that.
We count on that anyway.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
What's a qualified candidate in your opinion?
A qualified candidate? Somebody that really pays attention and to the game and knows the game and is involved and studies it. Knows their stuff. I mean, I think you got to. I mean, you want people that are going to be passionate about getting it right, and people that have high character, high integrity. Because obviously, when you think about a committee like that, there's going to be politics, and anytime you got people involved in something, there's outside influences and all that kind of stuff. Personally, I never understood why we didn't just keep what we had, as far as the BCS and just the formula that they had. Everybody kind of had figured it out, and all right, here's the top 4, and roll with that, and then you keep the people out of it. But, they decided to go this route. So I think the biggest thing, again, character, integrity, people who know the game, been around the game, studied the game, are going to take great pride in their preparation. Those are the things that I think they've got to look at when they put this committee together. And some of the names, I like a lot of the people they got on there. It seems like they got a good group. I'd love to be a fly on that wall with that group when they really get down to it. But I think there's still some questions and unknowns, but who knows? We'll see when we get there.
Do you think you have to have played or coached